What's up, guys? I am Frankium, or you can call me Frank. I've been a dedicated heavy main in TF2 for quite some time. So you're thinking about becoming a heavy main, but you're not quite sure he's the right class for you. After my roughly 4,500 hours in game and 900 on heavy alone, I feel that I'm in a position to outline the class's strengths and weaknesses and describe the type of person it takes to be a heavy main to help guide players who are having trouble deciding. Keep in mind that even if this guide tells you that heavy isn't the right class for you, it doesn't mean that you should never play heavy. It's just a suggestion that, in my personal opinion, you're better suited to main a different class. Maining a class does not mean you only play your main. It just means you play your main more frequently and better than the other classes.
Get a load of this, dumbass. Everyone knows heavy mains don't exist.
Yeah, never heard that one before. While that old joke is an exaggeration, there is some truth to it. There are perhaps fewer heavy mains than any other class, and there are reasons for it. I'll use 3 categories to describe what heavy is all about and what type of person it takes to main him. The categories are viability, difficulty, and playstyle. Let's start with viability. First, I'm gonna have to be brutally honest. Get an ugly truth out of the way. If you want to be a great competitive player, heavy just isn't your class. In such a setting, heavy's weaknesses massively outweigh his strengths.
Even if you become the best heavy man in the world, you can't compete with the best soldiers and gnomes. Never a joke!
Whoa. Pull yourself together, Frank. Pull yourself together. Your main isn't a joke. Because, on the other hand, heavy is a pub destroyer. There are 2 reasons for this. First, many casual players be like,
Yes, I think I will run straight at the minigun man today.
Second, there is a lot more chaos and disorder in pubs, providing opportunities for heavy to flank and ambush players who are smart enough not to just rush him head on. Let's move on to difficulty. Heavy requires a different skill set than most other classes. In terms of mechanical skills such as aim, I'll be brutally honest, heavy is really not that hard. For this reason, if you're up against players who haven't figured out that running straight at the heavy is suicide, the class practically plays itself. However, once you're up against more clever players, heavy's difficulty skyrockets, because in those cases, mechanical skill all by itself won't get you anywhere. Almost nobody ever uses aim cheats on heavy because, even with perfect aim, better players will simply outrange, outposition, and overwhelm a heavy who has perfect aim but bad strategy. When up against good players, heavy requires a great deal of strategy, such as prediction, awareness, and positioning. Perfect aim won't help you predict when and where the scout will try to flank from to pick your med. When is the spy going to attempt to stab me, and how can I foil him? How do I get close enough to that sentry to outdamage the NG's repairs? How can I gain the advantage over players who know how to use my slow speed and limited range against me? Finally, let's move on to playstyle. For the reasons I spoke of earlier, a great heavy must play relatively slow and methodical and rely on his strategy much more than his mechanical skill. Players are usually put off by heavy because they want to move faster, they want to be more competitive, and play a class that can do much more with aim and movement. Many players want to show off their skills with impressive market gardens, meat shots, and air shots. They like to be more independent of their team, therefore they play a more generalist class that doesn't have glaring weaknesses that require teamwork to overcome. For instance, heavy needs engineer's teleporters to overcome his slow speed, while soldier can just roll out with rocket jumps. Now if you feel this way, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's okay if you don't feel that heavy is a fun class to play. I'm just stating that these, in my opinion, are the valid reasons why most people don't like to play heavy. So why do I personally love to play heavy? To sum it up, I get to be relatively unique. I mean, how many people main heavy? I enjoy the strategy aspect of playing heavy, and I love heavy as a character both in-game and in lore. I also like to be a team player. Most of all, I love the feeling of playing heavy, when your med pops the perfect crits or uber in front of the whole enemy team. Your big moment is here and you just let loose, have fun, and kill everyone in sight. It's so satisfying to terrorize pubs Rambo style, go on massive kill streaks and accumulate insane numbers of kills on your gun. It makes me feel like a badass, like one of those classic action movie heroes from one of those cheesy 80s or 90s movies. I just get to be a big dude with a big gun and I get to bring the pain, and I find it a lot of fun. For those of you who are interested, I'll move on to general basic strategy next. Then I'll be making detailed guides on how to fight and work with each class's heavy next. Thanks for watching, now get out there and kick some ass.